Oh, that's good. All right, welcome back to another episode of Knicks Morning Coffee. I'm Mr. King. This is my partner, Joe Cool. All right, man. So, all right, first we're going to start out with just a couple of key dates that's coming up. Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Hit it up.
Everybody that new subscribers, a lot of likes. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, hit it up. Hit it up. Let's get it out there. All right, so just a couple of dates. The NBA draft we know is July the 29th. So that's coming up real soon. And then a few days later, the NBA free agency is August 6th. But now August 2nd, they can start talking to the free agents. But they can't sign them. They can't start signing them until August 6th. So, that's just some good dates to keep an eye on. And then, but we got two of our own things that we got to consider in this process too. And that is, we got to pick up the option on Mitch. And then we also got to figure out if we're going to go ahead and sign Randall. Now, the ball for that is in Randall's court. But those two things could affect, how we draft or even how we go after free agents. So, so the Knicks, they got some work to do in the next couple of weeks, and it affects all our moves. So that's going to be interesting to see. But, some free agent prospects, Dame Lillard is still, of course, a free agent prospect. Collin Sexton, now he's getting a whole lot of airtime, and I can't say that I was that high on him, but, if it falls to that for some kind of reason, I just started thinking about the other day being a little bit intrigued at times with him and IQ out there on the court together.
Yeah, it's crazy because they was asking me all week, and I'm like, if Woj or the Knicks don't say it, I don't really know if it's true. Because, Dame Lillard, he came out and said, like, none of that stuff is true. Like, if he was talking to the Knicks or not. Maybe not to be in trouble because what you just said.
Yeah.
But Sexton, he ain't really say nothing. So, do you think the Knicks are trying to get him?
Well, I know. I think they just putting putting everything on the table. You got to look at all the possibilities. Now, he wasn't high on my list, but at the same time, I guess things are coming out for a reason. I mean, I know some people just throw things in the air and see what stick.
See, I like him, but not enough to give away. Like, I know somebody was talking about Obi Toppin, and I'm like, Obi look like he gonna be good. So
yeah.
I wouldn't get rid of him just so fast like that.
Yeah, Obi gonna be a force, and then there's still talk with Lonzo Ball, and then there's still talk with Chris Paul at point guard. So it's just the talk is out there. So it's just a matter of, and some of it for good reasons. And Dame is right to say what he said because that would be tampering on the Knicks side. He could say what he wants, but it would be tampering on the Knicks side if there was some type of internal conversation. But then the thing going back to with Sexton, he was a CAA, with that organization or still with. So, Leon Rose and them got some ties still there. So, I don't rule all those things out to say that they all not true. But again, with some of the free agent guards, see, we keep talking about landing the big fish, right? So my thing though at this point is if we don't get the big fish guard, and I don't know if Lonzo Ball anymore fits in the big fish point guard category, but if you get a Collin Sexton and you get a Lonzo Ball, people in that tier, is that better than what we already had? Now, nobody likes to admit it, but Elfrid Payton was our starting point guard on a fourth place team. Granted, he didn't play a lot of minutes. So the player that you get is the player, is the player upgrade from what you just had?
I think so.
Right. So in that particular case, do that player have to be a superstar if they're an upgrade?
No, but I think we were saying that all year long. They don't got to, as long as they upgrade and not downgrade. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, by downgrade is like, don't go get Damian Lillard and all your other pieces is a downgrade.
Yeah.
No, just keep trying to build upon what you had.
Yeah.
Like, I know everybody was talking about Ben Simmons, but if they could have got him for the low, like, that's an upgrade from what you already had.
Yeah.
If he's winning, if he don't take a shot or not.
Look, Simmons is an upgrade. I don't care how you slice it. He's an upgrade.
Yeah, like
because you got to look at the upgraders from Elfrid Payton. That's the standard of the upgrade. Now, Elfrid Payton, with all the flack that he took, he did some nice things for us though. When if he had the green light to be a scorer, but that's not all what we needed. But if he was just going to go coast to coast for self, he could do that all day. You know, and his confidence just broke, I think, because of the media pressure. And then his confidence just went all the way south. But there were points in the game through the course of the season where he could go off for 8 to 10 points, in a matter of minutes. So
yeah, I think Knicks are staying young.
So
because, I think they're only gonna go old if like Randall's leaving or they got some inside information with Chris Paul and this person is all coming at the same time.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're just gonna stay young. That's what it's looking like. Cause I know one of those trades, I think one of those proposals had like we even get a 7th place draft pick, first place draft pick on somebody. I think it was like on Sexton's.
Oh yeah.
Like they were trying to get rid of him, and I was like,
no, I don't think it was that one. I'm gonna touch on that in a minute. I don't think it was the Sexton one, but also there was, now to talk. Not we, but me. I felt that one of our biggest needs, besides the point guard, which to me wasn't our greatest need, was at the small forward position. So now I'm looking yesterday at the Knicks are looking to upgrade that small forward position. Because remember, my thing was we need 20 points in the offense. Everybody's so in love with RJ, they don't want to be touched. So that 20 points can only come from the small forward position. Because if you get a point guard that's going to give you 20, that's extra. Because we still want our point guard to facilitate. So the small forward position is where we can add that 20 points scorer. And then off the bench is where we can add that 20-point shooter. Because it's two different things. So, Kelly Oubre is one that was popping up before and it just keep on popping up, and then I'm even trying to convince myself just a little bit, where do I see Kelly Oubre? Now, he had a nice little interview the other day where he talked about people really don't know his game yet. And he's growing and he's working every day. And people just really don't see it yet.
I feel like he's improved.
Yeah, he said himself, he improved every day this year.
But is he like a free agent or is he like
he's free. I think he's a free agent.
Yeah.
It's something to be considered. Now
see, look, free agents is different from you trading people. Free agents, anything better than what we have.
Yeah, but we got to look at too. But we have to look at some trades because half our roster we lose. So sometimes you got to get stuff back, and sometimes the only way to get stuff back is to make a trade. Free agency normally is, of course, that's the route to go.
Other than the people that we talked about last week, who's tradable? Because if Elfrid Payton's gone, if our shooter is gone, what's her name?
Well, the only people that's tradable are the people that we really wanted to keep.
Yeah, Burks is gone.
Bullock could be tradable. No, Bullock is ours one more year, I think. Okay. Burke is gone. Bullock. I think Bullock we have. Nerlens probably close to being out of here, probably, because I know his stock is going to rise. And until they probably get that other player, he may or may not want to wait and be left in the dark while the Knicks probably wait to go after this player, whoever it may be. But again, if we keep Nerlens, that's extra gravy for us. And if they lose him, then now you're talking about making trades and going after like the Jared Allens, people like that of the world, who don't hurt you, mind you. But one good note to keep an eye on is the story with Kawhi Leonard. Now, supposedly, and I guess it is true because I know they joke about Kawhi's Uncle Dennis, who's the one that, maps out his whole being. And once he don't trust you no more, and when the Clippers diagnosed him this year, remember for the playoffs, he was sitting up in the skybox with his family. And I think the game that they ended up losing, he was down on the bench. But he ended up having surgery, and he didn't even tell the team. They told the team, because they had to put out a press release, they told the Clippers after they had surgery. So that leads to speculation that Kawhi could possibly be out the door. He could possibly be out the door because that type of stuff, if any other player did that, they'd be fined for God knows how long. So now the Clippers, he can opt out also. So, you suppose he can't have, internal talks, but who knows to say what could happen or what's going on behind closed doors.
Well, what we all said? We said Kawhi lose, he's leaving.
Yeah, but where he's losing at is he lost trust in them. You don't do that. You lost trust in that Clippers organization. So
what you mean though? Like, so
well,
somebody if he's hurt, wouldn't they had paid for his surgery or something like that? Or no?
Nah, this is where the prima donna, just all this new age. When he was with the Spurs, they diagnosed him. He came back. He got hurt again because of what they said it was. Turned out that wasn't an injury.
I get you.
Right. So the
So
same
they
thing happened.
diagnosed him. They say he was fine. He went out.
Well, not fine. They say it's one injury, and then you treat that injury, but all along, yeah, it's another injury. So, and then he has no faith in the team doctors.
Well, whoever Giannis diagnosis is, they should go to him because he's the first player I ever seen get hurt, come back that fast, and then he's still playing.
Yeah, but what kind of hurt are you though? That's
you ain't see that injury? It looked bad on camera.
Yeah, but sometimes some things ain't as bad as they look though. I don't know.
Extension.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
Anybody else would have been out for the rest
that could
of the season.
that could have been a misdiagnosis. You know, he probably said he playing no matter what, and then if he say he playing, what you gonna do? You gonna tell him he not playing? I mean, you gonna tell Kawhi? They always was able to tell you you're not playing. I'm just talking about the management always now. They're so scared they're gonna lose a player. They're so scared somebody gonna walk. So the players hold the leverage. You know, and then there's the talk of Duncan Robinson with the Heat. You know, of looking into him. And also Tyler Hero. But Tyler Hero is definitely a two guard. Duncan Robinson probably could fluctuate each way.
He traded Tyler Hero?
Well, I mean, somebody had put something up the other day and I threw it on my Instagram with Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and that point guard they got off the bench. They had them all in Knicks uniforms. But the one player that supposedly was our trade bait was IQ for one of them. So I'm not filling out. Not a bad trade, but I'm not filling out. Now here's the trade now you was talking about before. Now somebody put this up, and I should have screenshot it so we could put it up for y'all to see it. All right, so it said, would you consider this three-team trade? Okay, now the Knicks get Russell Westbrook. Let me go through it first, and then the Knicks get Russell Westbrook and the number 7th pick. The Warriors get Bradley Beal. And the Wizards get Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, Kevin Knox, Golden State's 2023 first round pick, our 19th and 21st pick, and our 58th pick, and somebody's 14th pick. And then they swap picks with Golden State in 2022. Now, the Knicks essentially in this trade, when you look at, we would get Russell Westbrook and the number 7 for Kevin Knox and then those 3 picks. But then you also got to think that we also essentially taking on Westbrook's $44 million, 47 million in the next few years after that. That's too much money. Yeah. That's way too much money because there's a good 7th pick probably out there, but we still lost. Because now we only got $10 million left.
And how long we had Westbrook for?
3 years. At 41 million this year, 44 next year, and 47 the year after that.
I mean, all right, so now hear me out.
All right, go ahead.
You basically, I mean, I don't want to, but you basically get Westbrook for nothing, right? You get a 7th pick, so you get a better pick. We only losing this year's picks, right? So we giving up 3 of our picks for this year, right? I know we definitely got more than 44 million because we ain't signed nobody, right?
But we got 50 million. You give Russell 41 of that 50, you left with 9 because that counts the people that are leaving, and now you still got to fill out your roster.
Oh, so that counts the people that I thought we had enough bread.
No, that's counting. They counting the people that's leaving. So when you do because
but there got to be something to that when you sign somebody that already.
Well, if they got the bird rights, you could go over there.
That's what I'm saying. If they already got it, because now I'm thinking like, all right, so I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't know because they like.
Randall got to get more money. Mitch got to get a little bit more money, and then you still got to fill out your roster.
I was over here trying to think, what happens if we got Westbrook turn around, and then you got Kawhi. Like then them like, oh, how you did that?
I don't know about
Then you probably would have had to trade Randall then.
But the key is Westbrook, because most of them guys are they're in the 30 mil. Westbrook is in, and then if you sign Westbrook, you can't sign nobody else big for at least the next 3 years.
But Westbrook really not doing nothing.
Because he ain't never gonna opt out. Let's face it. So you would have to get him to get another star. You would have to let go Randall. But that's just something somebody threw out there that I thought was interesting, because why we always got to be the people that get stuck with the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why? For Golden State, I don't think Bradley Beal is nowhere near the answer to their problem. But still, money-wise, and Bradley Beal makes a grip, but money-wise, Golden State always been known to only have 2 or 3 high-paid players, and everybody else get, I don't want to say pennies, but everybody else basically get pennies because those guys are going to carry the load. So, but I thought that was interesting. That deal I wouldn't do.
Yeah, no.
That,
I mean, like I said, I wouldn't really want him anyway, because I don't even know what to put around Westbrook. Like, I don't.
Runners and shooters. But then is that going to fit in with Thibodeau's?
Yeah, I think he's been having
game
runners
plan.
and shooters, but I don't know.
Well,
I think Kawhi fits better, because I think you could probably attract more people to Kawhi.
Yeah,
but
and it don't take much, because Kawhi's going to take a lot of the shots too. But again, it's going to be interesting these next few weeks. Speculation is going to go real high in terms of what the Knicks are going to do. But the golden goose for me is that we finished number 4. So how do we get to 3 and 2 or 1? How do we get to that? So all right, next we're going to talk about and we probably maybe end it with that. Every week we're going to go into stuff with the draft and try to pick what people say the Knicks may or may not do. So and some names reoccur. So the 4 draft prospects in this case, I took it from who they say would perfectly fit with Julius Randle. Because the whole idea is that they're not going to trade Julius Randle. So if you was to move into the draft pick, a good one, who fits with Julius? Now this one didn't come from me. This one came out of the Daily News. One of the writers in the Daily News. Now, Moses Moody, we talked about last week from Arkansas. That would be a good pick for the Knicks. But now, is he a good pick with Randle? And we talked about what his stat line was last week, but they said we would have to give up both our picks to move up to get him. A 6'6" guy with a 7'1" wingspan, a 3-and-D guy, the Rookie of the Year in the SEC. So that's saying a whole lot. You in that thing with Kentucky and Alabama and all those great teams, and you're the Rookie of the Year. That say a lot about you. Same way how we got IQ out of Kentucky coming out of that. So that means you're getting a real good player. But is he really the player to fit well with Randle? Because guys like that, they tend to have to need the ball. But he can score and he can drive. Those don't never hurt. You get a 3-and-D guy who can get his own shot. That's kind of like Burke, maybe with better defense. But Burke's confidence level is high on the shooting aspect. So it's people like that you still, and I'm not even opposed to using our 2 picks or 3 to move up into the top 10, because I still think free agency is our way to go to get that next real player. All right, number 2 is Trey Murphy III out of Virginia. Now, he could start at the 3 next to Randle and be effective, because, Virginia guys, they come in highly recommended. Now, his thing is that he has next-level defensive prowess, excellent ability to shoot the ball. Well, we know that about him, because that's all of Virginia's top players have that. Did real great against a good competition and is NBA ready. So you can't get no better than a guy like that. Could be the best shooter in the draft. Now that part I didn't know. And then his stock rose in the combine. So that means you definitely would have to give up your draft picks, and you may even have to throw in a mediocre player like a Frank or somebody to move up to get a guy like this. Because this guy can come in and he can change your whole fortunes. All right, Kissberg, 6'7" Gonzaga. Combo player, plays the 3 and the 4. But he kind of remind me of, though? He remind me of a better Iggy. Remember how we never really gave Iggy a shot last year? Yeah. So he remind me of a better Iggy. Now his 18 points per game, 44% from the 3-point line, on a team that had Jalen Suggs, who could easily go number 1, but of course he's probably going to go anywhere in the first 3. 4-year player, so people are going to probably tend to try to stay away from him. They compare him to Joe Harris and Duncan Robinson. That says a lot right there, that he's a shooter. Now, could he fit in your starting lineup? I don't know, but a guy like that, he could be that guy talking about that 20 points off the bench. A shooter, rather, off the bench. They give you 20. All right, they say he doesn't have NBA speed, but he won't get bullied, and he has a high IQ. So guys like that, yeah, you can bring them in off your bench. I don't know how they play next to Randall, unless you're talking about through the course of the game, because Randall gets a lot of heavy minutes. So you got a guy out there that can spread the floor. And Impossible can cut and still get his own shot if Randall is the willing passer, that he showed to be late in the season. And then, of course, Chris Dorothy out of Oregon. We talked about him last week. The last 2 weeks, we talked about him. So that means something's brewing. Something brewing there with him, because he just keeps popping up on everybody's radar. They talked about him the last 2 weeks. That's what we did. Elite finisher, made 71% of his shots around the basket, 63% overall. So that's a sign of a player. That's not a sign of somebody who just, got the ball and had a hot streak through the course of a game. That's the sign of a player who can come in and get some things done. But him and the guy from UConn, something's going on. Something's going on with them. But you're not just going to move up to get them with your picks. You're going to have to probably throw in a player to move up and get those type of guys. So we're going to keep it short today. Again, we appreciate last week. We appreciate the views. Please hook us up. We need the likes. We want to try to get as many likes this week as we get views. All right, and we appreciate y'all support. So Knick Nation, peace.
Peace.